I'll take terrestrial mammals for 300. There is no question that the largest, strongest terrestrial mammals on this planet are now and always have been complete plant eaters. And there are reasons for that. Nature only provides enough energy for animals that size who live in large groups through plant foods. You simply cannot bioconcentrate into the bodies of other animals and support a large number of predators. So yes, the largest, strongest animals are strict herbivores. They are now, always have been, but even more importantly and equally interesting, all large-bodied social mammals living in large groups are strictly herbivores. And again, it's because of energy dynamics. And so that, again, argues for human beings being strict herbivores. And I always like to point out to people that, we humans are odd creatures. We are in love with the romance of killing, so we tend to idolize predators and things that seem to have a lot of power. But when we got ready to build our civilizations, we didn't hook our plows and our wagons and our coaches to lions, tigers, and bears. We hitched them to horses and oxen and elephants because only they had the strength and the stamina to do the work that needed to be done. So, as I once heard this young man say, if you want to be strong as an ox, you need to eat like one.
Are there risks to depression from low cholesterol?
So I've got the depression from low cholesterol question. You may both want to address this, but I'll say this. If we look at populations around the world and look at populations who have very low cholesterol levels, like some of the rural Chinese, for example, that we know have very low cholesterol levels. I have never seen any evidence that they have greater amounts of depression. In fact, I think it may be the opposite, but I don't know, and you may want to weigh in on this.
No, yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Brenda. Yeah, so the issue is, why is your cholesterol low? One of the things to note is that acute illness lowers cholesterol. When people get admitted to the hospital, almost inevitably their cholesterol drops. Severe infection will lower it. And so, one of the issues here is temporal sequencing. Is there something wrong with someone causing their cholesterol to be low? And that's why they're depressed, and that's why their cholesterol's low, and it's not the low cholesterol causing the depression. And I completely agree at the population level. If you shift the bell curve for cholesterol, we tend to see much better mental health in whole populations that generally have much lower cholesterol than prevails in the US. If you're talking about somebody who is living in a culture like ours, where average cholesterol is much higher than it should be, specifically LDL, but also triglycerides, and then you're using medication to lower the cholesterol, well, you really change the equation. It's no longer just cholesterol and mental health. It's pharmacology and cholesterol, and the reason you needed the pharmacology and mental health, it's a much more complex equation. I think the only proviso to add to all of this is we know there is a lot of cholesterol in the brain. The brain is a fatty organ, and cholesterol is certainly important to brain development. So, this argument took hold, I think, because there is a plausible biological pathway by which cholesterol deficiency could impair brain function and conceivably affect both cognition and affect. But I think that's very unlikely, if not unheard of, with regard to lifestyle. I think the only way that becomes a real concern is with medication that may interfere with certain specific biochemical pathways. That's possible. It is possible that some of the highly effective drugs that interrupt cholesterol biosynthetic pathways could have an effect on affect. We'd have to allow for that. What's the remedy? Well, healthy lifestyle, for the most part, will help you not need those medications in the first place, and will defend you against depression as well.
I want to start off by sort of channeling Bill Clinton. He famously said, it depends on what your definition of is. And what I'm referring to, it depends on what your definition of low is. The problem is that most or all of the values we have for what's normal in Western countries are taken from what is, in my opinion, a sick population. People who are eating animal foods that have artificially driven up their cholesterol levels, have artificially spiked their ferritin and iron levels. And then when we compare vegans to plant-based people to these populations, we say, oh my God, you're at risk for deficiency. Oh my God, your level is so low. No, the level, in my opinion, is really where it needs to be. And the idea that you will have, because you have very low cholesterol levels, you're going to somehow be demented, again, I think is put to rest by the Adventist Health Studies 1 and 2, because even when I was a lacto-ovo vegetarian, granted, I didn't eat a whole lot of cheese and stayed away from dairy for the most part because I was lactose intolerant, and trust me, you wouldn't want to be around me if I drank milk. But my cholesterol level was like down around 116. Which I think most people would go, oh, that's kind of low. So I don't think that that's a real thing. I think that people are looking for reasons to attack or call plant-based diets into question, and to do it by suggesting that we need more cholesterol is like saying that we need more smoke in our lungs, and that's why we need to bring back cigarettes. It's just crazy.